First name is Kendal, Kendal. Last name spelled Bortisser.
Why don't you go ahead and start by giving us a status update.
Okay, currently where we're at is the fire's at about 250 acres and we have 10% containment on it.
When did this start? Do we have any idea when it started?
It started between 12 and 1 o'clock and we don't have a cause yet. It's under investigation.
Can you talk at all about, this seems like it's pretty inaccessible where these firefighters are fighting, so tell me how they're getting to the fire, tell me what's going on.
Well, a lot of them are hiking in. As you can tell, it's pretty steep, rocky terrain as you take a look behind me here. So they're encountering those conditions of a lot of rocks, and it's real steep. So they're hiking in and cutting line and putting in hose lays where they can gain access to it. We've had our aircraft working, helicopters and air tankers working real hard from the air to try and get containment on it.
Right now you said there's only 10% containment?
10% containment is the latest number I've received, yes.
What's the weather doing for you guys right now?
Well, the weather, we have a slight breeze out here. We still have the high humidities, and we still have the high temperatures, which make it difficult to fight fire in. So those conditions, along with the terrain that they're encountering up there, makes it real difficult for the firefighters on the hills.
Okay, there's a lot of brush back there. It looks pretty rocky. And
pretty thick brush up over in the areas. As I drove down the road and looked back in the areas that have not burned, it's still pretty brushy and pretty thick. Yeah.
Is it burning into the old burn scar as well?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. I can't tell you that.
And are you using helicopters to transport hot shots or any other specialized teams into the line?
I'm not familiar with that. To my knowledge, the helicopters are working predominantly on the flanks, on the hot spots, dropping water.
Could you talk about how much of a threat this may be to any homes in the area? I know there had been some evacuations earlier.
We had an advisory evacuation early into the fire, which still is in effect. Basically, what that does is it just lets the people know that, hey, we've got a fire in the area, and we want you to be aware of it. And as we always say, that if you see smoke in the air and you're concerned, utilize that Ready, Set, Go program that we talk about all year long. Have your things ready to go, that in the event that you're asked to leave, pack them up and leave. Don't wait for the word to come from the officials to leave. So it's just advisory at this time that if they're concerned, to go ahead and pack up and leave.
At this point, is it burning in the direction of any homes, or is it more going out towards the open areas?
Well, it's there's homes spread throughout, but there's no immediate threat to any structures right now, and no immediate threat to any areas right now. It's a lot of open space out there.
And since you have an advisory evacuation, the evacuation center is at a local high school, right? The
evacuation, yeah, it's a temporary evacuation point, which is at Jamul Primary School. Right, and as I said, that's just the advisory for the areas east of Lyons Valley Road and Honey Springs Road.
Can you talk about how many firefighters you have out here fighting this?
I don't have numbers. I know that we have a significant amount of equipment. We have at least 30 engines assigned to the fire, so we have a few hundred firefighters assigned to the incident right now.
Any idea when we might have this under control?
Well, we'll have crews out here all night long working real hard to get 100% containment, obviously, and get a line completely around this thing so that we can be confident that it's not going to go anywhere.
Okay, and how long might you keep those helicopters up in the air?
Well, the helicopters will fly until sundown, and then they'll be, if need be, if the incident progresses, if they're concerned still with a spread factor, they'll keep the helicopters assigned to the fire.
And any injuries?
My understanding is there is one minor injury, yes.
And that was to a firefighter?
To a firefighter, yes.
Do we know what happened?
Don't have any details other than just a minor injury.
Can you talk about the types of evacuations? For example, I know there were some horses that had to be evacuated.
Yeah, I have seen animal rescue out here that's been in standby. I'm not familiar with any evacuations of any animals at this time. And then the only evacuations are the advisory evacuations in the areas that I spoke of.
And also, initial reports was that an SDG&E utility line or pole may have sparked that. Is there any possibility to that?
I don't have any details on that. My understanding is it is under investigation, and as soon as we have determined the cause, that message will be given out.
cause is still under investigation.
Under investigation,
that's
yes.
a possibility. What we were just talking about there.
We're just going to go with it is under investigation, and as soon as we have the cause, we'll release it.
Anything else you want to talk about?
I think that's it.
Okay. A lot of animals out here, not so many people.
Yeah, well, there's things are spread out throughout the areas. There's you see a lot of dirt roads as you're coming in. There's homes that are tucked back in the hills and back in the canyons and areas, and a lot of those people have animals. So the animals are of concern as much as the homes and things like that. So we're fortunate that we've got a great relationship with Animal Rescue, and they're out here and working real hard as well as everybody else is.
And most folks heeding the warnings then to evacuate or stay in a place.
Say again, I'm sorry.
Are most people listening to the evacuation?
I'm not familiar. I haven't talked to the evacuation center to see what kind of numbers they have there. Because it's advisory at this point, we just want everybody to be aware. Keep tuned into the news stations and the television to get their updates. In addition to, we work real closely with 211 of San Diego, and they also have the updates as well.
Super. Thanks. We're good.